Detective Mara Lane hated fog because it made honest streets look guilty. On the night the Sapphire ledger vanished, Graybridge Harbor wore a thick white veil, and every lamp looked like a blurred warning. The mayor swore the ledger was only a charity book, yet he called at 2:07 a.m., voice trembling, begging Mara to come alone. She found him in his office with the window open, the safe empty and a black chestnut placed neatly on the desk. Under it lay a note, "Late again." The mayor kept rubbing his ring as he talked, polishing fear into gold. He said no one had a key, but Mara saw two things he missed: a crescent of fresh brass dust around the safe dial, and a single wet footprint pointing toward the window, heel to toe, as if someone had backed out while watching him. On the sill was a speck of black tar, the kind that lived on ropes and pilings, not on city carpets. "You opened the safe yourself?" Mara asked. "Of course not." He snapped too quickly. She didn't argue. She wrote down the time on his wall clock because it was running 40 seconds slow, and liars often hide inside small delays. Outside, the fog swallowed her car within a block. She drove by instinct to the harbor, where time mattered more than alibis. The foghorn sounded late, a full minute after the lighthouse clock struck 3. That was wrong. Old Captain Hales kept the horn punctual as prayer. Hales met her at the pier, face stiff, and admitted someone had paid him to delay the horn for one night. "Just time, detective," he muttered. They said time was all they needed. Mara climbed into the horn house and found a fresh oil scent over the salt, and a second chess piece wedged behind the crank. A white knight, its base carved with a tiny number, 307. In Graybridge, 307 was the low tide marker painted on every pilot chart. She checked the tide tables. At 3:07 a.m., the harbor floor exposed a narrow stone stair beneath Pier 7, normally drowned. At 3:06, she waded ankle-deep in cold water, listening to the city breathe. At 3:07, the sea sighed back like it was tired of holding secrets. The stair emerged, and a man in a raincoat climbed up with it, clutching tin box. When Mara stepped into his path, he tried to bolt. She hooked his sleeve, and they both slipped, splashing hard. The box clanged but stayed shut. He was the mayor's aide, Nash, eyes wild and tired. "He was going to burn it," Nash panted, nodding toward the mayor's tower office. "The ledger lists every bribe, every favor. I only wanted proof before he blamed me. The nights were my warning. Don't be late or he'd move it." Mara opened the tin box. Not gems, but pages of names and dates, the real Sapphire being the truth. Sirens approached. Nash sagged, suddenly small. Dawn thinned the fog, and the lamps began to look like lamps again. Mara pocketed the 2 nights and wrote one line on the top page before sealing the evidence. Message: "If you keep delaying the truth, it will still arrive at the worst time."